too. In Sweden, when I grew up, me and my brother would always get these post-order catalogs. And these post-order catalogs would sell everything from model airplanes to little hot rod cylinders for your moped to make it a little faster, to electronics, to little fireworks and little all sorts of things. This crazy catalog. And they started selling electric guitars. And the first electric guitar I ever got was one of them. It was about equivalent of 16 pounds. And it was not that good, but it was a solid electric guitar, and I was very happy with that. And I just found out that recently that particular catalog now stepped up a bit, so they sell now Squier Fender Strats in that same catalog, still around. And funnily enough, the caption under the guitar says, the most famous electric guitar used by people as, in this order, Yngwie Malmsteen, Jimi Hendrix, and Richard Blackmore. So, yeah, it's a pretty interesting concept. Very proud of that.
And of course, more importantly, there is now the Malmsteen signature.
Indeed, yeah. And also, I'm also very proud to say that I have a Malmsteen Fender Stratocaster model. The Stratocaster Yngwie Malmsteen model, whatever you want to call it. And that, in fact, I just got it updated now. And it's really, really perfect, and I love it.
Tell me about what other instruments you play other than the guitar. I
play drums. But on the records and all the albums, virtually all of them, I play the bass, which is really the instrument that I insist on playing that on the records. The drums I played almost as long as I play guitar, although I couldn't say I'm that great on drums, but I love to play drums. I play keyboards, I play sitar, I play a little bit of cello, very little, and I sing. I play keyboards. You
play sitar? That's interesting.
Yeah, I do.
A lot of practice?
Well, I do it kind of my way, I mean, I'm sure there's a more proper way of doing it, but I do, yeah. I like the sound of it.
Yeah, it's a great sound.
Yeah.
What's your bass of choice?
That's a Fender. Well, I have a lot of basses. I have a lot of Fender Precisions and some jazz fretless ones, and I got a couple of Rickenbackers too. They got a special sound. My favorite's Fender, of course.
Do you pretty much have every guitar you want now?
Oh yeah.
There's nothing.
More than I want, really. No, I have. Oh my God, yeah. I have a lot of guitars.
How many would you say?
I can't really. I think. I mean, it's 150, maybe. I don't know, something like that. That's a lot of guitars. I used to deliberately go and collect them. I don't do that anymore. I would really get into getting the 50s and stuff. I have one of the 10 first ever made, which is March '54, first month, first year. March '54, and in October '54 they started making it with my machine. So they made 10 guitars every month from March till October 1954, and I have one of those. In fact, the first month. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's just incredible.
Yeah, no, it's crazy. Then I got some prototypes that I found that even the people from Fender are going like, "Wow, I can't believe you got that." I found them in places, England and stuff.
And you're, of course, known for the scalloped.
Yeah.
Tell me how that came about.
Well, when I was a kid, I used to do a lot of things with wood in my hands. I used to build model planes, and I took a little gig as an apprentice in a luthier shop in the city instead of going to school. And some guy brought in a 17th century lute that had the wood carved out like that, and it looked really cool, I thought. And so I did it on one of my not so good guitars, and I really liked the way it felt. And I started doing it on all of them, and more and more and more. And so that's something that I've done now for many years. And it's a little different but a lot of my friends have actually adopted it. Like Steve Vai and Billy Sheehan and Uli John Roth. They picked it up. They said, "Well, I like that," so they started doing it too, but not on the whole neck.
What do you think that brings to the music then? To us people
Well,
who
no, I
can't
mean,
play?
it's just basically what it is. It gives you a little more control of the vibrato and stuff like that. It does not make it easy to play fast. That's for sure. No.
Does it give a different sound, or is it all to do with technique?
No. It's more of playability, basically.
So I guess you would pick a certain instrument for a certain song. You would pick a certain vocalist.
Well, no, I like to have singers that are very versatile, and the singers, once again, have a lot of. To me, I'm extremely picky with it, very, very particular, and the pitch is extremely important. The timbre is very important, but the most important thing is the vibrato. If the singer don't have a good vibrato, then the cause is gone, is lost cause, and I often find it very difficult to understand that people don't pick up on that when they listen to albums. And I hear singers that sound like a goat. I don't like that. It has to be a controlled vibrato. Like an opera singer. It shouldn't be an involuntary function. Like a goat. Would sound. And I won't mention names. They're none of my singers, but I'm talking about
Yeah.
Yeah,
you use Doogie a lot.
Yeah, well, that's just me. I mean, I'm I'm into the operatic thing.
Musicians you'd most like to play with in a perfect world. Who are your favourite? You're the consummate musician. Who are your favourite musicians?
Well, that's an interesting question. I mean, obviously my biggest heroes, so to speak, the people that I truly admire. What has given me the most influence, inspiration, and all of that, they're all not here. The great composers, and the great virtuosos, Niccolo Paganini, Franz Liszt, Tchaikovsky's violin concertos. I went to see, me and my wife went to see Itzhak Perlman play Tchaikovsky. It was just fantastic, stuff like that. I mean, today there's a lot of great classical musicians that can play that stuff. But once again, that's the originators of that. They're all gone, so to speak. And as far as rock goes, I mean, my heroes, they're all the old stuff. Queen, Purple,
Richie especially.
The early stuff. Everything from in rock to Made in Japan to Rainbow Rising. Yeah, come on, that was my first show ever. When I was 12 years old, I went to see a show at the Royal Concert Hall in Stockholm. Rainbow Rising. With Ronnie, Richie, and Cozy.
Yeah, that was Ronnie.
Yeah. That was. Right. Ronnie has become a very good friend of mine since then. I mean, we've known each other. It's the first guy I met when I came to the States. We used to hang out a lot.
Can this go any further? Rock guitar playing, rock influence with the way you see rock, your version. Can that go any further, or have you gone taken that as far as it can go now?
I think that. If you're an author, let's say Stephen King or Clive Barker, my favorite, or H.P. Lovecraft or whatever, somebody that really takes a genre to the, Now, as far as technique goes, there's only so many letters, there's only so many words you can use. Now, it's how you use it and where you go with that, It's not like I'm going to sit down now and practice and come up with something crazy that's going to top what I've done before, because that's not the point, is it now? What the point is to take what I've learned through all the years and what I've accomplished as a composer, musician, whatever, and bring that to an exciting place that always begins with making it exciting for me, thinking, oh wow, yeah, this is exciting. Not to follow trends, not to do what everybody else does, because that's something I've never done and I never will, So I will always go where it takes me, so to speak. And if it takes me to a place where I think is exciting, then that's where I'm going to go. And I know it's kind of vague, but that's all I can say really about that. I don't have a direction. I don't want to go in a direction. I want to just let it happen, And I always felt that the best songs, the best performances I've done always came that way, because there's been times when I try to, if I do this, it might go on the radio, or if I do this, might be, the more, the harder new metal crowd or whatever, and I gave that up completely now. So I'm just going for what I feel is exciting, and the cool thing about it is that it still is to me. I can pick the guitar, like when I just switched on the Marshalls now a moment ago, I go, yeah, this is good. I like this. Just the loudness of it makes me happy. So that will automatically bring me to places that I want to be. So that's how I look at it.
It's a great answer. And finally, life on the road. You tour all the time, somewhere, most of the time. Is life on the road as good as it ever was? Or, I mean, we were talking off camera about the restrictions now on live shows and what you can and can't do. Just tell me a little about life on the road now.
Well, I think everything nowadays, obviously, speaking for myself, everything's a lot more business-like. But I don't want to allow, even though I'm more business nowadays, and I'm not saying money-wise, I'm talking about performing. I go on stage, I'm going to give you guys a show that you're going to remember next year. So, I mean, everybody's straight, stuff like that, which is different from, let's say, 20 years ago, when no one was straight, And so now we're all together, very tight as a group, and myself, we take care of business, go on stage, and boom, that 2 hours, that's going to be, pristine. Now, that's all good. As far as the traveling goes, that doesn't bother me at all. I love to be on a tour bus. It's like a house on wheels, It's very comfortable. I don't mind, watching a DVD, wake up, next town, rock and roll, no problem. Not a problem with that. It's become, of course, a little less, you can't be as free, you can't set guitars on fire. Sometimes you can't even use smoke machines. Bums me out a bit. But I try to roll with those things and just make sure the show is something that the kids are going to go back and wow. Because you got to remember something. Nowadays, kids don't have to go stand in line when it's raining outside or whatever, trying to find a parking spot, buy a T-shirt for the girlfriend, whatever. It's not like the old days. To get the kids to come out to the shows nowadays, you got to remember you can't just let them down, And it's a pride thing also. So yeah, I mean, I just came off an American leg and went like clockwork, Really good, really good. And so did the European and the American leg before them. Japan is Japan, no different. So yeah, I'm actually enjoying it. I think that my last tour I ever did was recently was very, very enjoyable. Everybody was very on the money, on the ball. It was no unnecessary stuff.
Terrific. Which
there has been a lot in the past. People getting out of control and doing bad things, and the tour has to be cancelled, and it's the old stuff. I couldn't deal with that anymore. So that's the big difference.
For years now, you've had a love affair with the Japanese, and very much them with you. Can you just tell me about your feelings of?
Right. See, the thing is, I was very lucky that after I left the Steeler thing, I joined. I put the group together rather with Graham Bonnet, and we did a record, and then we went on tour. And I was only 19 years old. Went to Japan, and Graham Bonnet had been in a band called Rainbow, and if in the early 80s, if you had anything to do with Rainbow, Deep Purple, anything like that, it was automatic. You didn't have to start from scratch. That was it. And so we were very lucky. Well, actually, I was very lucky that we got to play the really big places, get all the big press in Japan the first time round. The album went gold, and I got a solo deal out of it. As soon as I came there, they said, "Oh wow, this kid, we need him to do something on his own." So the Rising Force thing that I got was actually meant to be on the side of Alcatraz, which is a long story, but it turned out not to be like that. But yeah, so no, it was great, and the Japanese have been wonderful all these years, and every time I just came back out of there last Christmas, it was incredible. Really, really good. I mean, basically, I feel in a lot of ways that my career started there in a way, you know. And they really took me in, and it was a great thing. It was a great thing.
That's great. Thanks, Yngwie.
Thank you.